All right, hello everyone. This is Sir Adrian back here to film the Imperial Russian turn for the fall winter of 1915 in our current game of Global War 1914 titled Operation Bersaglieri. But first, a couple of very quick housekeeping items. I don't have them written down, so hopefully I remember everything. So the Americans over in Washington, and this is from the previous summer 1915 turn. There was a bit of changes there. They had purchased two Marines, sorry, not in Washington, in New York, but you're only allowed to purchase one elite unit per turn. So what we ended up doing instead, because naval infantry costs the same, is they still get one Marine that they had purchased, but they switched one of them out for a naval infantry. So they should have two Marines in New York and one naval infantry. I noticed in the TTS file there was three. That's because the turn before that as well, there was a similar mistake made that I'd pointed out as well, but I guess things weren't updated. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and make sure that's updated and good to go. And I think one of them was placed in Washington, actually, one of the Marines, but that could have been railed to New York anyway. So we'll just leave them there. And that'll be that. Other housekeeping items. We have the KMT, or sorry, not KMT, because they weren't the Guomindang at this point. They were still known as the Nationalists till 1919. Sorry, but the Nationalist Republic of China. Nothing wrong. Oh, actually, there is. So one of the random events for that was missed. So there was supposed to be the Feng Xian clique was supposed to do a mandatory offensive, and Tintin had said that was from Western Manchuria into Ri. So we'll go ahead and roll that very quick. And that's just for one round. So you have one militia attacking at a 1. That's a miss. And not one round because it's the fall winter. Just it's specified on the card 1 round. And you have a militia defending at a 2, which will be this black dice here, and a regular infantry. Yeah, regular infantry defending at a 4. So the green bluish one will be at a 4. Okay, so that got a hit. So the Feng Xian militia dies in that attack. So there should just be one infantry in Western Manchuria. Aside from that, the Nationalists should actually have 6 IPP to spend next turn. Because they had 4, they spent 3 on an infantry, saving 1, but they took Shenxi this turn. So instead of collecting 4, they should have 5 because they were previously collecting 4, but Shenxi is worth an IPP. So with the 1 they saved, they should actually have 6 in the following turn. And now that I'm thinking about it, there is something else that I am missing with China. Oh, non-combat. Sorry, that's what it was. So, I do believe that it was the units from Hopei will be moving into, or the units from Shantung, I believe, might be moving into Hopei. Either way, there is non-combat movement for the Shili clique. I do believe that's what it is. I'll look and make sure that the proper movements and all that are updated in the TTS file. But I do know that the units from Peking, pardon me, are moving into are moving from Ri into Suyuan. That I know is correct. But I'll make sure for the Zhili clique that those movements are correct. Aside from that, what else? Hybrid had asked about this territory in southern France. It is all flat, but it is supposed to be mountain terrain, so you were correct about that. And there's a river as well. But yeah, that's mountain terrain, so any units attacking from either... no, Switzerland doesn't border that. But any units attacking from northern Italy into southern France would have to cross that mountain terrain and the river as well. What else? What else am I missing? Mandatory offensives. So nobody completed their mandatory offensives. Nobody being the German Empire, the British Empire, British Empire, and the French Republic. So those three countries will suffer the penalties because of that. So, the way it works is that we are currently in the fall-winter of 1915. So, because they failed to complete their mandatory offensives, at the end of your turn, so at the end of the French and British turns in the fall-winter of 1915, because they didn't complete the mandatory offensive, they're not able to collect wartime income. So, and I had discussed this with Seb Scullion while we were filming his video, and I thought that was the case. I wasn't 100% sure, so I asked to confirm, and that is in fact the case. So whatever Seb Scullion rolled for his wartime income, that'll have to be subtracted from the British income. I have the correct amounts, I do believe, over there, but I'll just double check the videos again and make sure it's updated in the TTS file. And while I'm on that real quick, they will have a +1 though, because he forgot to collect the 1 IPP in trade due to diplomacy from Greece once again. So can't forget the Greeks there, Sib Scullion. But anyway, yeah, so hybrid as well. Unfortunately, he rolled quite well, but you're not going to be able to collect that wartime income. So instead of being at 34, you will be at... it's 22. It wasn't supposed to be 23 either. When Switzerland aligned to you after it was attacked this turn, it did temporarily go up to 23, but then the Austrians took it before your turn. So that should have been at 22. So that's what you'll collect, is 22, as opposed to, I think it was 34 after your wartime income. So that's unfortunate for sure, but yeah, that's one of the effects from not doing the mandatory offensives. And Germany doesn't have wartime income yet, so we don't have to worry about that. But the other effect will be that going into the spring of 1916, Germany, Britain, and France won't be able to roll for any diplomatic rolls on the diplomacy chart. Even if you have a free roll, you won't be able to use it. So there's that. So in essence, it's kind of, I guess it would be kind of wasted, essentially. Like, I don't think that free roll carries over. But regardless, you can't roll for that. And any automatic alignment that's supposed to happen wouldn't happen either. So Portugal was supposed to automatically align to the British this coming spring 1916 turn, but that's not going to happen. They don't go to neutral, and they can still be influenced by the British and other countries, but they don't automatically align. But the negative effects from the mandatory offensive, that kind of resets. So essentially the way it works is because they didn't complete it in the spring of 1915, any of the countries that didn't complete it, if you have wartime economy, you're not able to collect for that at the end of this turn. When you go into the spring of 1916, as I said, automatic alignment doesn't happen and you can't do diplomacy. But then at the end of the spring 1916 turn, you can collect your wartime income. And when you go into the summer 1916, at the beginning of that turn, you could go back to rolling your free diplomacy rolls or paying for diplomacy, and automatic alignment would happen once again. And then the negative effects would only come back if you get to the fall winter of 1916 and once again you haven't done a mandatory offensive. Then the same thing that's happening at the end of this turn with the wartime income, and next turn with not being able to do the diplomacy, and that would kind of repeat itself. So that's the way that works, just so everyone's aware of that. So I think that should be it. I don't really recall noticing any issues with the Ottoman turn. If there's anything I think of, I can come back to it. But that should be good. I don't really think there was anything with the Austrians. And if there's something I'm missing, that's fine. I'm sure there might be one or two little things I noticed. I should have wrote them down. I usually do, but yeah, that's fine. So anyways, let's get into the Russian turn before this video gets a little bit too long. So as I said, fall winter 1915, we have 8 IPPs to spend. We're going to be buying 2 infantry and upgrading a militia for 2 IPP, so that's our 8 total. In terms of tech, we have 2 roles. We're going to try to get wartime income, or economy rather, completed, and strategic bombers to stage 3. We need a 7 for each. So we'll see how that goes. So this pink dice here will be for wartime income. This black and purple dice will be for strategic bombers. So strategic bombers is a miss. Wartime income is a 7. That's exactly what we needed, which is great. So the Russians move to completion. Wartime income, or economy rather. I don't know why I keep saying income. Wartime economy. The only attack we are going to have... Actually, we'll have two attacks, yeah. So up in Karyala, we will have an attrition attack from there into Lapland. Yeah, we'll try that. So that'll be on a 1. Actually, sorry, there will be a 3rd attack, but we'll do that on a 1. Okay, so that's a miss, so nothing happens there. We'll have an attrition attack with 3 artillery from Moscow into Orel Kursk. So same thing, 3 on a 1. So those are all misses, unfortunately. And then the only... or 2 other attacks, actually, sorry. So we'll have this Russian cruiser, or torpedo boat destroyer, sorry, just off Ponape, move 1, 2, 3, attack the German cruiser raider. So the torpedo boat normally hits at a 4. Reduced by 3, so it hits at a 1. So we'll go ahead and roll that and see what happens. So that's the very opposite of a 1. That's a miss, and he gets to respond at a 1 as well. And that's a miss. So nothing happens there. So I will stay off in P zone 71, so just off Queensland there, where the major port is. And the cruiser raider would retreat. So if MP7 wants to change this, he can, but it doesn't really matter, I don't think, to be honest, where it retreats. So we'll just retreat him just off Tasmania down there for now. And the other attack would be this Russian cruiser is going to move 1 space and attack the Italians. So they have the rest of their fleet in port. They have 2 torpedo boats and 4 submarines, coastal subs. So their coastal subs defend at a 2. There are 2 torpedo boat destroyers defend at a 4. And my cruiser will be attacking at a 6. So 2 rounds of combat only because it is fall-winter. So I'll go ahead and roll for my cruiser. So that's a hit on a 3. I imagine he's going to want to lose one of the coastal subs. So his 2 coastal subs are going to get to fire back at a 2. So those are both misses. And then he's going to get 2 torpedo boats at 4s. So those are both misses. So we can go for 1 more round. So at a 6, that's a miss. Or coastal submarine at a 2. And that's the hit. But we'll go ahead and roll the torpedo boats just in case. Okay, so the coastal sub got a hit. So that's sunk. So the Italians are still left with 2 torpedo boat destroyers and a coastal sub at sea in Sea Zone M3, so just off Sardinia. And my cruiser is gone. We'll put that there for now. So that should be it for the attacks. Now for non-combat movement. So we're going to have this pre-dreadnought, which is boosted by the Spanish major shipyard. Move 2. So 1, 2. We are going to have well, here, we'll move on over to this side of the board. That's much better. We're going to have these 2 infantry that were in Western Russia move into Petrograd. And we'll actually go ahead and grab some chips for that. So there we go. Move into Petrograd. We are going to have two infantry. No. Yeah. We'll have two militia rail from Donetsk, Kuban. to Petrograd. Those will be over in there. Chip those out as well. And then we'll have the rest of these units, which consists of 2 militia, move into Moscow from Donmanich. So that'll be it for non-combat and what have you. So now we get to place our units and all that. So we're going to upgrade one of the militia that we hadn't moved to Petrograd to an infantry. We are going to place our, which that uses 1 manpower to do that. And then we still have 3 more, so we're going to place our 2 infantry in Petrograd. So that's it for all the Russian non-combat movement. So the only thing we have left to do, and we're down to 5 IPP, so we'll collect 5 IPPs plus our 2d6 for our wartime income roll, which we'll go ahead and do now. So 2d6. So that's a 6 and a 3, so 9. So total of 14 IPP that the Russians will have to spend next turn. So that's it for the Imperial Russians. I will be back shortly to film the Warlord era random event cards for Tintin and B-Guest. But aside from that, we will hand things off now to the Imperial Japanese.